You know those moments that Uncle Jack would be tickled and you would see it on his face, you'd hear the laughter, and just the way, the drawl of his voice when there was something that tickled him. I think I've been at many funerals where public speaking has gotten away from me, it's paralyzed me, but I've had something I wanted to say about that person. And inevitably, the pastor would say, if anyone else has something that they'd like to say, here's your moment. And I'd let that moment pass me by, and I'd regret it. So I want to change things up for just a moment here. And I don't want to ask anybody else that hasn't already agreed to publicly speak. But I want everybody to think of a moment, something about Jack, Uncle Jack, that tickled you, that would tickle him. And just, it can be anything. It can be something a food you think of, a moment you've had, a word that makes you think of him. And I'm just going to ask a couple of you to call out that word so that we know what's on your heart without you having to get up here and speak about him. Anybody? Okay, wait, let's go with the beach. Okay, how many people here have a memory with Uncle Jack at the beach? The Twinkie trailer, right? There is a time that Uncle Jack, I was down the beach with him all the time, and I wanted to go for a bike ride without my shoes. And Uncle Jack was against it, but as we all know, little girls win with Uncle Jack. So he let me go on that bike without my shoes. And don't you know that speed bump right in front of that Twinkie trailer took off my toenail first time out. And I broke Uncle Jack's heart because he let me go out there without shoes. And I know that it's something that he even brought up till months ago because it was something that one of his little girls was hurt. So that's a memory I have of the beach. Somebody else? Yeah, I know. That he held on to it all these years. I know it hurt him more. Uh-huh. Yep. Stick your finger in it. Yep, and we stuck our fingers in that fan. Yep. Hands down, we all did. Well, there we go. How many fish did he catch with a cheese curl? Anyone else? 2, go for it. And what was the most disturbing part of that van is that there was a mirror over the bed. As an adult, I now think on that, but as a kid, I thought it was the coolest thing. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I love. That's what I wanted to hear, is these stories that would tickle him. And you can hear that laughter. Anyone else want to add something? Whistling? Yep. Whistling and singing with that southern drawl. What's that? Clementine? Yeah. Zacchaeus was a wee little man, and a wee little man was he. Anyone else before I continue? Okay. Shrimp salad. So many years ago, we moved away, and so we had holidays that we weren't with the family, and I made him give me that shrimp salad recipe. But I can tell you, and Ben can tell you, it's never been the same. So I gave up trying, but I guess I'm going to have to try again because I need that. Austin? Oh, gosh, yes. Pop the teeth out. Maybe that's why they call him Pop. Pop the teeth out. So many special ways Uncle Jack was Uncle Jack. People come and go in our lives, and some leave an imprint that make us smile. But then there are those like Uncle Jack who leave us with an imprint so deep, it leaves us with a desperate loss. I've said for years that I feared the day we would lose Uncle Jack. It was just incomprehensible. And so some of you know, if you follow me on social media, my last birthday, last November, I sat there holding my phone in my hands as Uncle Jack called me. And I didn't answer, not because I didn't want to talk to him, but because I knew he was calling me to sing happy birthday. And every year that was such a treasure to me to hear him sing. And so I made sure I had a recording, so I sent him to voicemail. And I'm going to see if I can play it for you guys here. I think.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nisi. Happy birthday to you. I love you.
Just
talk to you later.
Happy birthday, Nisi. Talk to you later, babe. We love you. Bye-bye.
Listen right here if you can hear it. Who's gonna sing when I'm gone? He said. And no one can take that place. I'm so blessed that now I have this treasure that for every birthday, just like every birthday I've had for the rest of my life, I'll get to hear him sing that song. Uncle Jack was undoubtedly the latter, the greater loss, the greatest loss. I've often thought I've had 3 dads in my life. The one I was born to and lost at the age of 10. The one who married into my family and accepted me as his own. And Uncle Jack, who was there from the beginning and for every step of my life. 39 years of having him there for everything. I recently took the 5 love languages test and found that my love language is words of affirmation. His words have always been the utmost importance to me. There was always an excitement at getting to call him and see him and hear that fatherly pride as I told him something I was excited about. He fulfilled my genuine form of love, and I know that so many of you can attest to that fatherly love. I think that's a word so many of us have used with him, is that he was a father to so many of us. Every homecoming, every prom, my date and I would have to stop by to see Aunt Bobby and Uncle Jack, just to get a photo, to get his affirmation, and to get a smile. The smile that you felt to your core. The photo inevitably was of me to the nines in my gown and Uncle Jack without a shirt on. There's even one hanging out there, so you'll see me, my senior prom, and Uncle Jack without a shirt. That's how we knew him, right? One of those quirks that we adored. You always knew that's what you would get when you walked into his home, but you never knew what you were going to get with the beard. Sometimes he was trying to keep things good with Aunt Bobby and he was clean shaven, or he was trying to irk her every nerve, and that's when you'd see the big white bushy beard almost down to his knees. Santa Claus. When I close my eyes, like you said, you can hear his voice, I can feel his hug, I can smell his cologne, which just seemed to be the natural scent of him. Aunt Bobby, you and Uncle Jack have always been much more than an aunt and uncle to me. You've been an extension of my parents. I have always felt and appreciated the unconditional love that you have given me. And not only me, but my children. And how Uncle Jack adored my babies, like he adored all of our babies. Have you ever known a man to love a little one more? It was funny as we were talking about this today. You mentioned about kids and that we talked about kids and how there's people who, you have your kids, you raise them, you're done, and it's just like, okay, there's your kids, they're cute. Not Uncle Jack. He couldn't get enough of them. So much of who I am today is because of you, Aunt Bobby and Uncle Jack. The countless hours I spent with you growing up, the mornings before school where you would tear a brush through my rat's nest and give me real food, not just cereal. The smells of your home are forever ingrained in my mind, the smell of home and family. The summers in your Twinkie trailer, The birthday parties, every birthday party was in their house. How many people here had a party or attended party in their basement? Exactly. My graduation party, I even got ready for my wedding there on my wedding day. And coming up the stairs, Bill, my stepdad, I have his face so in my mind and the tears, and then there was Uncle Jack right behind you. And the smile on his face, the pride, like I was the most special girl in the world, just like every time he saw me in a gown before. Only this time, he had a shirt on. He actually had a suit on. When I was at my most alone, 2 babies and my husband in Iraq, they took me in like they've done so many others. People in this room, a number of us have lived with them at some point in time. And instead of being alone, far from my family, I had a support system. There were so many mornings I would come up from a night of no sleep because of my son Jeremiah. He was a terror at night. But Uncle Jack would just look at me and take him right out of my arms in the morning and let me get some rest. It's a blessed life when you experience a love like we experienced from Uncle Jack. COVID has been an experience I can't wrap my mind around. It kept us all apart in his final days and even his final months. For his birthday, everyone knows he had such an affinity for my apple pies. And so for his birthday this year, I wanted to take him an apple pie. But COVID kept us apart, just the fear of getting him sick. But come May, I'd had enough of it, the distance, and it was my mother's birthday, so we decided to make rounds. We live down in Annapolis, but we came up and made rounds to socially distance and visit people with a surprise. Wine, cupcakes, flowers, but Uncle Jack got his very own apple pie. And that's the last apple pie I made. And there's pictures out here of it. The happiness on his face, the joy at that surprise, that smile. I'm so glad because that's the last time I saw him, and now I have that forever, and I'll never make another apple pie. I don't think I've ever made an apple pie without thinking of him, but I'll definitely never make another. And that's how I'll remember him. I've truly never known a better man. The fierce way he loved and protected his family, the devotion, the happiness, the playfulness. I don't know that anyone could ever love so many in such a deep way again. He was something special and will leave a big hole. As I'm sure many of you can say, my life is so rich from having known him, loved him, and been loved by him in return. We were blessed to have known a man of unparalleled caliber. I'm so grateful my children had the opportunity to know him, and I can only hope that my son could become as great a man as Uncle Jack. Uncle Jack, with all my love, I will miss you every day, and I hope to make you proud.